Hi, Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your April 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading and clear the energy space, once again, a reminder not to be scammed by anybody in the comment box pretending to be me offering you a reading. This person is not me. They are a scammer. Do not be scammed. I will not be soliciting you for anything. Now, with that said, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. All right. Now let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Aries, April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. 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 Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels. These cards, I have to say, they're in the description box below, and I forget their name, and I do apologize for that, but they're going to be the first tarot deck listed there. They are absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you can see the back, but they're beautiful, and they're astoundingly thick. They're really great quality. So if you're looking for a really great quality deck, this is definitely one to check out. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. No, it's just that one. No, it isn't. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, and let's see the chakra energy for this time. Aries, April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Ooh, okay, fantastic. 3. Then we have the energy we need to be mindful of. What is the energy that Aries needs to be mindful of during April 1st to the 15th, 2021? What is the energy that Aries needs to be mindful of April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Just this one. Oh, interesting. Okay. And then let's see the spirit guide message for this time. Aries. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to start with the chakra energy. Abundance, which is the root chakra. Clarity, which is the third eye chakra. And finally, inspiration, which is the sacral chakra. And we're going to see how these all correlate with the tarot. And then we have the energy to be mindful of, which is the Lord, which is Aries energy. That's very, very, very interesting. Okay, so we're going to kind of get in our own way during this time, Aries. So be mindful of that. And then we have mystical, which is the spiritual energy that's coming forward. All right, now the left-hand side is the inner self. The middle is the heart, the emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's move this back just a little bit. Okay. So we have the Five of Swords, the Seven of Wands, the Ace of Cups, and the Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have the Hermit crowning our hearts, which is Virgo energy, August 23rd to September 22nd. We have the Knight of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, but we're definitely taking this gift that's being offered to us. We have the Three of Wands, and we have the Nine of Cups. I really like the root here. The Queen of Swords, the Nine of Cups. Let's see. We have the Knight of Wands, which represents us, Aries. In the minor arcana, we're represented by the Lord in the major arcana. So we're coming through as a defender during this time. We also have the Knight of Cups here. So we're defending our hearts within our heart line. We're defending our passion and our purpose and kind of the reason for getting out of bed in the public arena line. We have the Hierophant. So if you're born on the cusp with Taurus, this part of the personality is going to be coming out very, very strongly. Taurus is, of course, April 20th to May 20th. We then have the Four of Swords, and we have the Ace of Pentacles. This is God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing you a gift of prosperity, but also a gift of emotions and knowledge and greater understanding. Okay, so let's start off with the chakra energy and seeing how this all correlates to the cards. So we're starting off with abundance, which is really quite beautiful because we have that gift of abundance coming in and we're claiming something and finding our footing in a way that we had lost before. The repeat of the number 5 in the tarot is really showing us that it is our time for freedom, but also things are going to be resolved more easily than we had imagined. The repeat of the number 9 is also showing us that we're coming to the completion of a cycle emotionally during this time. At our root, there is a sense of abundance, prosperity, bounty, wealth coming forward. And we're embracing this bounty and this prosperity in a very real, very intense way. There's going to be times here where we look at things and we're like, okay, not in a selfish way, but in a very kind of pragmatic Aries way. We're saying, what's in it for me? How do I move forward? How do I enhance my life, my love, my passion, what I desire? And that abundance is going to be such a part of us during this time that it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to ignore, to look at things that either aren't working out the way that we want them to, aren't progressing the way that we desire, and also saying to ourselves, okay, what is the abundance I need within my life, myself? How is it that I can kind of jumpstart me forward or keep me going in the direction that I so need? Clarity comes in, which is the third eye chakra. We start to see things more clearly. We start to look at things more openly, more honestly, more in tune with what we want because our third eye is opening. And this is a time where, yes, we're focusing on the self, but also that correlation and interaction with everybody else. There is a sense here of looking at things with honesty, with integrity, with a sense of clear vision. Instead of saying, oh, well, I already know the answer, which a lot of times we do. We as a human race, we are saying, well, let me discover, let me see, let me have an open mind, let me look at things differently. Now, this can make us a bit vulnerable because we're going to be our third eye is going to be opened, and we're going to be seeing things that were once hidden from us. But we can also start to say, oh, well, it's my fault. If I wasn't so stubborn, or if I wasn't looking at things a certain way, this wouldn't have happened, that wouldn't have happened. We have to be very mindful of that during this time, because this is a time where we need to look at what it is that we desire and say, okay, I take responsibility for what I need to take responsibility for. That's what a good general, an Aries, is the god of war, right? So we're represented by the god of war in mythology. And so here we're looking at that and saying, okay, a good general takes responsibility for things. A good leader takes responsibility, but I can't take on all the responsibility. The individual also has to carry their own load. So do be mindful of that sentimentality during this time. Inspiration really does guide us. The sacral chakra, which is where we hold a lot of our negativity from this life, from past lives, is starting to open. We have the three of wands in our inner self. So we're starting in our emotional self. We start to say, well, why can't I move forward? Why can't I see things differently? Why can't I embrace what I want? The inspiration guides. And so here with the sacral chakra, we're being inspired in really different ways, in really beautiful ways. And we're starting to say, well, why is that holding me back? Why is that past holding me back? Why am I letting that be what defines me? What makes me who I am, instead of saying, well, I'm conquering and I'm becoming and I'm moving to new heights and I'm gaining new understandings. Because if we let the hurts from the past, now, whether this be our past life past, or whether this be the ancestral past, or the past that from the people that raised us, we are going to be looking at hurts and pains and disappointments that aren't necessarily our own, and finding out that that's not what defines us anymore. We're going to be breaking cycles. And that leads to a new dawn, to a new day, to us being very inspired, very driven forward. It leads us to really looking at the energy that we have to be mindful of during this time. I think it's quite interesting that it is Aries energy. So here with the Lord, and this is in this deck, of course, the Emperor, it is saying, I need to see who it is that I am. This is the essence of the self of Aries coming through. Now, we might be meeting along the line other people who represent this stubbornness, this tenacity, this focus, this fierceness. And we might find that we have a lot in common with them and we want to really get on with them, but we're not going to. And that can be a very hard pill to swallow. That could be very, very upsetting. It's like, oh man, I thought we'd connect, and I thought we did connect, but we don't. We're not compatible. We're not on the same wavelength. I'm raising my energy vibration, and this person is going to want to control. So there is going to be people here, and it's not just Aries energy. It's somebody who embodies this way of being. And it is going to be a controlling person. It can very well be a boss. It can be a domineering spouse or partner during this time. It can just be, or just somebody who's very overbearing, who's going to say, this is the way it needs to be. You need to follow what I'm saying, and that's that. And during this time, because we're embracing our abundance, we're seeing things more clearly, we're taking a lot of responsibility for things, but we have to make sure that we're not taking responsibility for the burdens that we aren't supposed to be carrying, for the hurts and the pains that aren't supposed to be defining us. And so during this time, it's getting out of our own way, all right? But it's also looking at things and not being bullied because we're trying to be more compassionate. And I know that might sound odd, but it makes perfect sense. So especially if you found this channel, if you're part of this family, all right, you're a more empathic person. You have this emotional way of connecting with the world. Now that's fantastic. It really is fantastic. But the problem with being an empath or a emotionally connected person is that people take advantage of that. And people can make us feel guilty, can make us feel as if we're doing something wrong when we're not. So during this time, and it makes us also great, kind of fuel and victims for narcissists and psychopaths and, people that, they're scary names, but people who are just astoundingly egocentric and don't have that compassionate caring that we ourselves do. So we're going to have to just be very mindful of that energy as we're moving forward. And it's time to embrace the mystical. It's time to really connect with the spiritual. And that's the spirit guide message during this time. It's like, connect with the spiritual, connect with the mystical, connect with the brilliance of the body, the mind, the arms, the legs, the sense of coming together in the wisdom of silence, of night, but in the wisdom of the beauty of ourselves and what we desire and how we're moving forward. The Five of Swords is showing us right away, and it really does very beautifully connect with the Aries energy to be mindful of, with the Lord energy to be mindful of. It's the battle that we have fought before that is hard, it is overwhelming. It makes us think that, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this, I can't do this, I don't want to move forward this way. So the Five of Swords is saying in ourselves, we're having to overcome hurts and pains and disappointments that we don't really want to be. And it's taking tremendous strength of self to say, I can still move forward, I can still go after this, I still know what I want, I'm still heading towards my goals. That clarity of abundance and inspiration is still guiding me. And I will not be beaten down, because the energy that is here is saying, are you sure you won't? Are you sure you won't fail again? Are you sure you won't mess up? Are you sure you won't be overwhelmed? And the fact of the matter is, during this time, we have a lot that we're looking at. And we're looking at things more clearly for ourselves, more in line with what we want, what we desire. We're not letting other people define us anymore. There can also be a real sense of frustration here, Aries, where it's like, no, you don't get to say this. I get to have my voice. I get to have my say. The thing with Aries is that we tend to rocket forward and then kind of calm down. So it's that initial burst, and then the kind of, it's not coasting. It's a sense of gliding forward. It's like when the birds beat their wings really a lot, and then they glide on the air. That's what we're good at, okay? And so here, when we're looking at this, it's like, I thought I wouldn't have to do this again. I thought I already gave it all my energy. This time, we're going to look at it, but we're going to look at it differently. We're also going to look at it more compassionately for ourselves. Instead of feeling like we did something wrong, instead of feeling like it was our fault, we start to look at it and say, it's very interesting that sort of person gets put in my path time and time again. I'm not being bullied by them. I'm not, losing my voice to them. I'm standing in my strength. And it brings us then to the Seven of Wands. We start to learn when we want to fight and when we don't. We start to really see the battles that we're going to go after and the things that we're going to say, well, that's silly. I'm not wasting my time. During this time frame, we are going to be looking at things and saying, well, what's the best for me? Again, it comes back to the self, not in an egotistical way, but in a way that says, what do I need to move me forward? What is it that I want? What is it that I can engage with? And what is the battle that I want to have? And what am I going to let go? Because it's not worth it. It's not worth the battle and the hardship and the pain and the disappointment that I'm going to have to engage in for fools. And so with the Seven of Wands, it really is a sense of, I'm choosing my battles wisely. And I'm choosing when to fight, and I'm choosing when to walk away. I'm choosing when to look at things and say, well, that has validity to it. And when to say, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I'm not going to be dragged into this. So it's kind of like the person who is powerful, who is that person who trains their body, who is super strong, or who's super intelligent. And they say, I don't need to engage in everything. I don't need to correct this person all the time, or I don't need to, fight these fools who think that they're stronger than me. I know my strength. But when they do fight, when they do stand their ground, it becomes extraordinary. And that's what we're seeing here when we are embracing a time, and we are in a time that has brought us down before. Now we're learning when to engage and when to walk away, when to look at a person and say, wow, they hold a lot of validity, and when to say, that person's a fool. Like, why am I getting tangled up in this? It moves us to the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is healing. The Ace of Cups is God's source spirit, however we see the divine, the universe, handing us a gift of peace, handing us a gift of insight, handing us a gift that washes away so much of the hurt and the pain and the hardships and the anger and the upset and the chaos that has us feeling like, I just can't carry this burden anymore. Is it gone forever? No, it's not. But is it looked at this time and said, I get to release so much of what is weighing me down, so much of what is robbing my voice, so much of what is making me feel like I just can't? And the answer is, that's exactly it. The answer is yes, we get to wash this away. We get to stand up tall and strong, head held high, shoulders back, and say, I'm worth more than what I've been settling for. I'm worth more than what I expect. And there's a sense here for a lot listening. You faced a battle in your past. It's most, for a lot, it's most likely a teacher or somebody who, not a teacher, it could be a teacher, but it's most likely a parent or a caregiver who was very, very close to you. All right? And they gave you a lot of guilt. Now, it could be that you were super protected by this person and they didn't give you a lot of guilt and they just always praised you, which can also be detrimental. But there's this sense of carrying a lot of guilt and always feeling like you had to protect yourself because you didn't know when the next battle was going to engage in. And that's what they prepared you for. They prepared you not to be able to trust anybody, not to be able to look at things honestly and openly and say, oh, well, that person's showing their real emotions because this person was always hyper manipulative, hyper, vindictive and cunning. And this is what is being washed away. It's kind of like, I don't get to carry those scars anymore. They don't get to show up in every single face that I see, every single person that I meet. I don't get to see how I have to be nervous, or how things might go astray. And it can also be with lovers that we've had. There is a sense here of it was a very close person, and it was very much of this helped shape our emotional connection with people. And it can be a lover, a first lover, or just somebody we were with for a really long time. And it's like, this is where the healing comes in. And then we become the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is like, I'm not putting up with this bull anymore. The Queen of Swords for me is always the warrior queen. The queen who cuts through the doubts, the fears, the negativity, the nonsense, and who says, this is truth. This is what I desire. This is what I want. This is what I need. This is where I'm headed. Nobody is going to make me think differently. The Queen of Swords does not take any bull. That's why people mistaken her for being a very negative queen. She's not. She's just a very fierce queen. And she's a queen that might not be embracing the quote-unquote womanliness that we want, that nurturing, that calm, that loving. She's like, listen, I can be calm and nurturing and loving when I need to be. But right now, I need to be a badass. I need to, slay my victims, move forward, keep on collecting my goals, keep on going after what I want. And that's going to be really important to us during this time, because there is a sense here that we're going to kind of be drawn towards emotional traps, doubts, fears, angers, upsets. And that's where the hermit comes in. So when we start to fight for ourselves, when we start to see the clarity, embrace the weaponry, because the sword is the only weapon in the tarot. We can argue that the wands are, but the wands can also be walking sticks and trees, but a sword is a sword. It can be used for ceremonial purposes, but it is always a weapon. And so here, we are trained in that weapon, and we are using that weapon to the height of our skill. And we're embracing a majesty within us that others have ignored, or we ourselves had ignored for way too long. And it brings us in our hearts to really turning inward and saying, what is it that I love? What is it that I want? What is it that I need? What is it that I long for? Silence is going to be so important to us during this time. Not, meditation, yes, sitting in silence, but not a silence of accusation, a silence of connecting and emotionally understanding and loving the self and seeing the self so much more intensely and powerfully than we had before. And it brings us to the sense of looking at the magic that is within us, looking at what is intrinsically important to our hearts, what emotionally makes us feel like we can achieve our dreams and go after what we desire. And it brings us to the Knight of Cups. As we connect that way, the Knight of Cups says, I defend what is my emotional truth. I have my armor on. Yes, knights, have their armor on. They are the defenders because life gets hard and life gets intense. But here we have the person completely immersed in the water. We are completely immersed in our emotional truth, in what we desire from life. We're understanding our flaws. We're also really looking at our blessings and the beauty that is part of us. And instead of saying, oh my gosh, I'm always so silly, oh my gosh, I always make so many mistakes, it's like, no, there's this fierceness, there's this power, there's this determination to me. And I'm opening up that door. I'm moving forward that way. I'm not going to be held back. And that becomes greatness. That becomes power, especially when we connect it with our emotional self. It's like, I have nothing to apologize for. Okay, I might have made mistakes along the way. What human being hasn't? I embrace what my heart loves. I embrace what I need as a person, as an individual, as a being of this world. And I fight for emotionally what lifts me forward, what has me looking at things differently, what makes me gain greater insight and understanding. And it moves us to the Three of Wands during this time, because we're having this connection with our emotional self, because we're seeing ourselves so honestly, and we're also getting out of our own way so brilliantly. The Three of Wands is like, it's time to move forward. It's time to go after what we desire. It's time to open up our eyes. It's time to say, this is my beauty. This is what I want. We start to see ships come in, which means that we start to see things like seeds that we have planted starting to come up. But we also see our ships go out. We also see ourselves taking a little bit more risks, believing in ourselves a bit more, connecting with ourselves more beautifully, more serenely, more powerfully. And it leads us to the Nine of Cups. It leads us to wishes coming true. It leads us to an opening of our hearts, a sense of beauty. Now, what's really interesting with the Nine of Cups is that others see this within us much more easily than we see it within ourselves. So the Nine of Cups is like, yes, I'm achieving, but we're still going to think, oh my gosh, but I have such a long road to go. And yet others are going to look at us, and especially shining emotionally like this, and say, wow, there's real beauty in that person. People are going to be more drawn to us than they usually are. Or like, not usually are, but yeah, it's going to be a little bit of that way, where, we start to see people smiling at us. You start to see people, connecting in different ways. And it's really fun, and it's really cool. And it's like, wow, I didn't think that my heart could open like this, or I didn't think that I could take a risk in this way, because, things are hard, and things are overwhelming, and life gets intense, and I don't always see my blessings. But here we are seeing our blessings. And it becomes the shade that comforts us. It becomes the water that cools us, but it also becomes what inspires us, what moves us forward. And it really is quite wondrous. And there's a bit of a wish here that starts to be granted. There's a bit of a wish that starts to come forward and say, well, you really wanted this. And I know you really wanted this. And it gets to be a part of you. And then we have the Knight of Wands here. This is us, of course. And I love this jubilant, pose where it's like, yes, success. And it's as we kind of plunge into the waters, we plunge into our emotions, which you would think, water puts out fire. It's going to be like, no, the water is going to make this fire within us. The emotional understanding is going to make this fire within us grow more deeply. But it's also going to cool the fire that doesn't need to come out. It's kind of like the temper coming forward, the anger coming forward, that's going to be cooled. The Knight of Wands here is saying, I have to defend what I am passionate about, what I love, what I want, what inspires me. This is the reason for getting out of bed. And a lot of times, the reason for getting out of bed is I have a lot of responsibilities. I have people that depend on me. I can't stay in bed any longer. Get up. I have to get to work. I have to feed the kids. I have to walk the dog. I have to, X, Y, Z. And what we're going to see here is like, yes, I have things that I have to do, but there's also a sense of I need to embrace my life. I need to live the day to the fullest. I need to move forward inspired and jubilant and saying, this is what I want, and these are the mountains I'm going to climb, and this is the determination that I have. And so it's this beautiful, powerful energy that comes forward, and it leads us to the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is, of course, the Taurus energy, but the Hierophant is the energy that says, look at what is true. So the Hierophant is the only one who can tell an emperor what to do, because the Hierophant is, of course, represented by the Pope in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Now, when the the Hierophant energy comes forward. We have the sense of, now there can be somebody in our lives during this time in the public arena that has the authority to tell us what to do when most people don't. This is going to be a person who's spiritually more inclined than at moments we ourselves can be. This is going to be a person who can be very somber, but who can also be very warm and connected, and who has a lot of wisdom to them. But this is also a sense of us warmly connecting with who we are and what we want. This is us being inspired by our ideas, by the beauty that is a part of us, by the greater insights, the greater understanding. There is a sense here of like, oh wow, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this to be who I am or what really matters to me. And we start to see the part of us that when we turn away from it, we feel like we lost a part of who we are. And what Spirit means by this is like, this is the thing, these are the things that are intrinsically important to our very essence of being, and the things that others cannot take away from us. They can try. And at times we might think, oh, well, this is silly and I should stop doing this because, I'm an adult and I should be more this way or that way. But when we stop, it feels like a bit of us dies away. The world becomes a bit tinged in gray. And so here we start to look at the essence of what we enjoy, of what we love, of what we desire, of our way forward. And it's like, there's more here than I realized. And there's more to me than I give myself credit to. This is what I'm defending. And it starts to tell ourselves, the warrior, it's like it starts to give the warrior within us guidance. And that is really cool. And I love this card. I just think it is so pretty. The Four of Swords. The swords are the wind chime. And what we have to do here is like, just envision that calm moment when we're just listening to wind chimes. It's like, okay, in that moment, start looking at how far you've come. And if you still have miles to go before you sleep, that's okay. That is okay. Or if you say, oh my goodness, I've actually gone backwards, I haven't come as far as I want, look at the forging of the soul that is happening at this moment. But start to give the self credit for everything that we have been through. Every heartbreak, every pain, every disappointment, every battle that we have fought, every determination that has moved us forward. Because that's important in the public arena. Because there can be somebody here who wants us to feel as if we're not worthy of prosperity, we're not worthy of what we desire, we're not worthy to move forward the way that we want, and that's nonsense. It is. Look at the road that has been paved but laid down. It's laid down because it's a Roman road. It's not a road that needs to be paved time and time again. It's a road that lasts. And so here, as we look back at that road that lasts, it's like, yes, it was back-breaking work. Yes, it was hard and it was intense. But look at who I am now. And it's so different from who I once was. And it leads us then to the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles is prosperity and success and bounty. The Ace of Pentacles is God's source spirit, however you see the divine universe, saying this is a gift of wealth. It's coming in the public arena. It's a gift of wealth. It plays to the root chakra of abundance that is coming forward. This is the gift that defines us, that, are the seeds that we're planting. And it defines us in the public arena because we define ourselves by our successes. We also judge ourselves quite harshly by our failures. This is a time where we say, look at my success. Look at what it is that I'm taking. Look at what it is that I'm cultivating within me. Look at the bravery that's moving me forward. Look at the determination that's guiding me. Look at the power that is a part of me. And it becomes a game changer. And in the public arena, we're ready to celebrate this game changer and to be inspired by it. Now, our spirit animal message for this time, Aries. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay, this one right here is the wolf spirit. Turn knowledge into wisdom. The spirit guide message here of the wolf spirit is to turn the knowledge that we live by into the knowledge that we accumulate into the wisdom that we live by. And what's really cool is that one of the spirit animals of April is the wolf spirit. And so this spirit animal of April, we have this intense connection with April. Well, yes, because the part of April that we're talking about here is, of course, oh my goodness, the time of Aries. And so that's why right here we have this time being something that we have to be mindful of, but also something that's going to help embrace us and forge us and have us looking at things so differently and abundantly and clearly and giving us reasons to rejoice as it puts us back into alignment with who we are and what we want and what we desire. The wolf spirit is this knowledge, this knowing, becoming the wisdom that we live by. It leads us to our subconscious chakra message, actually to our subconscious spirit animal message, which is the butterfly spirit. Transformation is beautiful. The transformation of this time, the knowledge that is coming, the way that it is helping us to spread our wings and say, this is my power, this is my truth, this is what I desire. It becomes absolutely beautiful. And it leads us to our chakra message of self-mastery. With the solar plexus chakra, we start to see ourselves in the way that we can master ourselves, in the way that we can not control ourselves, but have ourselves come into alignment so that we see things more openly, more honestly, more beautifully, and we start to see ourselves becoming more in line with what we want and more inspired by who we are. And what's going to happen with this and what I'm seeing is that before the alignment comes, there is this bit of chaos. And the chaos makes us think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get there. So the chaos makes us think that, oh, I get to walk away. Oh, I'm never going to get to where I want to be. Why even try? And then the alignment comes because we're looking at the chaos and it starts to get healed in one way or the other. And we start to see the prosperity moving us forward. It moves us to our subconscious person message, which is the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, is the sense of listening to the vibrational energy, listening to the connective energy of what we want and where we're headed and what we're looking at. And there is this sense of prosperity, but there is also this sense of being mindful of people who tempt us with prosperity, but whose energy we just don't get on with. So do be mindful of that, where there's going to be this person and we think there's something wrong with me, they're so successful, or they say they're so successful, and yet I just don't like being around them. Okay? Listen to your gut during this time, because our gut feels some things is pretty good. It leads us to our subconscious spirit message, which here is radiant. Let the self be radiant. Let us shine in our happiness, in our joy, in our success. That's what the Knight of Wands is saying. In the brilliance that is us. Let it shine. Instead of saying, oh, I'm sorry, I should be somebody else, thinking this is bad. It's like, no, let it shine. And embrace the radiance of the inspiration of it. She's holding the moon. It's like it's talking to her. And that radiance, that inspiration, it comes from the most unlikely of places. The subconscious tarot message is the Six of Pentacles. Everybody's going to want a piece of something. We're even going to want more than what's put on the table at times. And there's going to be built frustration because there isn't this steady flow of give and take. It's like either it's all giving and it's all taking, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. We need to find the balance. And it can just be finding the harmony within ourselves, but finding the balance within our world, within what we desire, within what we want. And also really setting clear boundaries and saying, this is what I need and this is what I don't. This is what I want and this is what I don't want. And it can be the clear boundaries within ourselves, within our emotions, but also the clear boundaries around others. All right, Aries, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace our warrior side so that our dreams come true and the prosperity that we long for becomes a part of our daily existence in one way or another, whether it be money or what we value as much as money. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries.